Hey, what's up? Welcome to 2025. This is the first video of 2025, and I thought there would be no better video to start out the year than a sort of desk setup tour. I've only done like one of these before, and I think that because we have the new studio now, which we'll be talking about more and more throughout the year, I'm sure. We've got some secret projects on the way as well. I figured this would be a cool starting point. Like, this is where work gets done. This is where I've started to build out a setup, which I've never really done before. I usually have just been like getting products that I need to function and not have too much aesthetic. So I'm super excited with the way this has come along, and I'm excited to just share with you everything I have here with my desk setup, the tools that I'm using and where they came from. Links to everything will be down below. Special thanks to some of the brands who sent out products, which I'll mention as we go along here. Before we dive in, on this channel we talk about tech from an intentional living, minimalist perspective. We love tech that follows form and function. So if that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing. It's going to be a crazy fun year, and we're excited to have you guys along on the journey. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into my 2025 desk setup tour. One of the things you might notice right away is the greenery and forest inspired vibe, sort of. Funny enough, it all started with these two black and white framed pictures. They were already here when we got the studio. The guy who shares this space with us, Mike, is just a great interior decorator. I don't know if he did it himself or if like his wife or family member did it. I don't know, but he's got a lot of nice stuff in this space. And funny enough, there was a printer sitting here under this black and white framed designs here, and I actually just really liked it, and I thought it would make a great backdrop to my desk setup. But little did I know, they've kind of inspired everything else that have gone along with the setup. You'll notice blacks and whites, and even the frames here are sort of like a walnut kind of color. So I have in this setup sort of mirrored that and added in some other things as well. And then there's my peace lily, which has been in my family for a long time now. And I think my wife got it when her grandfather passed away when we were in college, I think. So it's been in our family for a while. I brought it here to try and give it some life. It still needs to be kind of trimmed up a bit and watered and probably repotted, if I'm being honest. But as we've sort of discovered the vibe that we want to have, the aesthetic we want to have on the channel, as well as like our Instagram, you'll notice there's a lot of browns and blacks and whites and then greens, which is just inspired by the peace lily and some other pieces we have as well. Apple have also made this awesome like screensaver, which just fits the vibe perfectly as well. I think this is maybe the redwood forest, I'm not entirely sure, but it just adds to the color palette that we're going for here. Right, so I guess we can start with the desk of the setup, as most desk setups should start. This is actually the FlexiSpot bamboo top. One of their cheaper models. I actually didn't have this desk in here before. I was gonna maybe get a different type of desk or something, but I actually ended up stealing it from Josh, who works here on the channel, to put in this space, just to give the desk I had here before was a little bit more narrow, so I wanted a little bit more working space. And I don't love sort of this dual tone wood texture that we're going with, but honestly, it tied in well when our friends over at Rayco sent over this desktop riser stand here. Because of the way it's designed, it has this lighter wood texture here because of the plywood way it's built, and that actually kind of matches the bamboo, and I think it actually kind of adds this really interesting sort of contrast between the woods. Again, I think I would love to have something more like a walnut desk, but because of how this turned out, I think it actually looks really nice. As you may or may not know, we've reviewed quite a few FlexiSpot desks here on the channel in the past, and I love working with them. I love their desk products. So it's a joy to add this to the setup. But yeah, let's talk about this sort of like storage system, riser, deal, desktop stand from Rayco. They were super kind to send this over for me to review. I think it's beautifully designed. I think there's a lot of intentionality with the way that they've put this together and some of their other options on their site as well. They sort of look at these products almost as an heirloom, something you can pass down to your kids. Maybe you have a kid going up to college. Like, this is something that doesn't really need to get thrown away. I mean, it's well made, it's intentionally designed, and I think it's something that truthfully for years to come, someone could use in a desk setup or pass it along to a family member. It's incredibly sturdy and has some great features like this second shelf with a sort of felt lining for keeping tech. Like I put my iPad there, you can put your phone there. It's just a nice padded texture here so that you don't scratch anything. And it comes with an optional drawer which is lined with cork, which is great for like small daily items like pens and cables. I have a tiny camera in there. When I bring sort of my Ugg Monk travel case thing, I just slide that in there as well just to get it out of the way. It's just a nice way to sort of hide those little bits and bobs that you sort of just have on your desk, just kind of pushed away in its own little place, which is super nice as well. And of course I've got my Dumbledore there because I want him to be a part of every desk setup if I can remember. It's literally from like my daughter's Kinder Egg, but I thought it was really cool. Huge Harry Potter fan, so he's obviously gonna make the cut on a desk setup video. Rayco also sent this MacBook vertical stand, which is felt lined as well and incredibly like sleek looking, and obviously the woods match, which is nice. And then it has a sort of felt pads on the bottom as well, so that you're not sliding it all over the place. But I think they nailed this setup. I know they also have some trays. I think they have headphone stands, things like that. So definitely give them a check down below. It is going to be an affiliate link, and I'll get a little bit of a kickback there. So I appreciate Rayco for sending over these products. I love the stuff you sent over to me. So let's talk about what's sort of on this monitor stand. So first, sort of going from left to right, I have my Ugg Monk sort of card stand. I don't know what they call it, but I love this. Funny enough, it sort of matched the whole setups that I had going here. I actually bought this before I had any of this other stuff, so it matches quite perfectly. So I actually stole some of the rubber stripping that came with the Rayco monitor stand to add to the bottom of the Ugg Monk card holder so that it wouldn't slide all over the place. It does slide on a desk, so this sort of keeps it in place, which is nice. I love my Ugg Monk cards. There's just something about like sitting down and like focusing on task creation, not having anything else going on, but like a very physical, tangible way of writing down your tasks for the day and the week and the month. I actually use like the someday card as my month, the next card as my week, and the today card as my today to-do list. So there's a link to them in the description as well. Not an affiliate link, but I love them. Let's spread the good news. Next to that is actually a nice gift that Josh here on the channel got me for Christmas. It is just this tiny little, almost like business card size stack of cards which have Bible verses on them, but they are customized to me. It sort of makes the verses more personal, and it's a good reminder. I love flipping through a new one each day. And again, coincidentally, the lighter wood matches the desk, and it's just a nice look next to my Ugg Monk cards. That's like a small store. I think it's actually Josh's family friend who makes these, so I'll leave a link down to her store as well down below if you'd like to pick yours up for somebody, for yourself, or for a friend. Okay, so now for the masterpiece of the desk, aside from the Rayco monitor stand, is the Mac Studio display. I still think they're way overpriced. I'm starting to realize that the Apple tax everyone talks about has more to do with the functionality of their software and how it all works together than like just overpricing because of the Apple logo. Yes, there's a part of that, but when it comes to anything Apple makes, they're gonna make it so that it just works really well. If you think of like a monitor that you would normally use, you plug it in, you might have to like select the output or the input, it might have a slow startup. With this Mac, because it knows that I'm connected to my MacBook, it immediately starts up, it immediately switches the audio over. It just works well. If you can just think like, what would be the best, most convenient monitor? That's what this is. So yes, it's expensive. It's a 5K display. I love it. Coming from a 32-inch display, it's a little bit smaller at 27 inches. I've already gotten used to it. I love using it. It just feels right, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it can't be beat, seriously. As for the bezels, they go away after 5 seconds of using it. Bezels are an interesting topic maybe for another video for another day, but I love this thing. It looks amazing. It completes the setup, and I seriously look forward to using this display every day when I come into the studio. Right, so I do have a phone charger on the desk. It's a MagSafe charger from Nomad, and I think it just sort of mirrors, as you can maybe see here, it's got that white sort of vertical look, which sort of matches my Ugg Monk cards over here, and I think it just sort of mirrors that sort of look, and it works well. It looks nice. It has some of sort of those silver features that sort of match the Mac Studio display and the MacBook, and it just looks so nice and elegant over there. It's a great way to sort of keep up a clock on my desk like I have here, or maybe if I want the sort of notifications that you can come through with the standby, I don't know what it's called, where you turn your phone sideways and it'll show information. I think that's a really cool Apple feature, especially for like a nightstand setup. But I have that there from Nomad, link in the description, affiliate link on that one. And then I do have the Rayco stand with my MacBook, which is just the base model M2 Pro MacBook Pro 14-inch in space gray. I do think like the silver MacBook Pro would probably look better with this setup, but I love space gray. I think it's awesome. And that thing has been a beast. Never had any hiccups. I've gamed on it. I've edited videos, 4K videos, these videos on it. Never had any issues with that MacBook. I love it, and it's going to last me for years to come, I can tell. Cool, so let's talk about peripherals. Under the monitor riser, I have the Avanki dock, which I've reviewed in a previous video. I love this thing. It's got SD card readers, multiple ports. It can power up to like 4 6K displays if I needed to. Obviously I just have the one, so that's a little overkill. But one thing I really like is the amount of ports on the back side. Not every sort of docking station has a ton of ports on the back. I actually leave a Samsung T7 SSD plugged in back there. That's what I edit my videos off of. Do a lot of like file heavy stuff off of that SSD, so being able to leave it behind there, plugged in, tucked away where you can't see it is fantastic. And these docks are just incredible. They've got a few different docks you can check out. I'll leave links to those down in the description as well. Okay, for my keyboard, I have this all white. It came with a couple orange keys, but I actually reviewed this in the past. This is the Drunk Deer A75 Pro. It's silent, it feels amazing to use. I love the little speckles on it. You can watch the full review up here somewhere if you want to, but I love this thing. I think it matches the setup really nice. It has this sort of gold trim here, which I don't love, but I think the white looks amazing in the silver. And to pair with that, I did pick up the MX, what is this called? MX Master 3S mouse from Logitech. I've always wanted one of these mice, and I finally just bit the bullet and got it. I don't know why I haven't till now, but I've seen a lot of people talking about how this gets really gross really quickly, and I probably should have picked up the dark color because it doesn't show that sort of wear and tear as much. But I mean, it matches the setup so well. I've got the black, the white, the silver brown, and this sort of like gray. It also matches this keyboard amazingly because the keyboard has some silver accents, and then obviously on here you've got the silver accents. It matches the Mac. It all just kind of flows really nice together. So I've been really loving using the MX Master here and then the Drunk Deer A75 Pro keyboard. All right, so rounding out the setup here are sort of my everyday items that I take to and from, which I'll do an EDC video later on, possibly in January this month. But I always have my water bottle with me. Right now I've been rocking the Owala water bottle. I'll leave a link down in the description to the Amazon link. I love it. You can drink it via straw or chug it with the chute, whatever you want to call it. It's great. It's a water bottle, kind of built like a tank. It's nice. The headphones I have here are the NWM1s, which I also have reviewed in the past. They're open ear, over ear headphones, so it's nice using them here in the studio in case I'm listening to music and someone comes in and starts talking to me. I can hear them, just be aware of my surroundings. I like them. Most of the time actually, I'm just listening to music through the Mac Studio speakers, which actually sound fantastic. But if I ever just want to have more like isolated-ish audio, I'll put those on. They look fantastic. It's one of the best designed like products I think of last year in my opinion. That's what I keep at the desk. And then finally I do have my Stubble & Co. roll top book bag, which I just love. The green fits the setup. It's awesome. I love using it. The material is fantastic. I also made a video reviewing that product, which I'll also leave up here if I remember to, but that's what I take to and from work every single day. And I hang it off of my desk. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this desk setup tour of 2025. Thanks so much for watching. Like I've said, I've never really had like a nice themed out desk setup that I get excited to come to every day, and I'm excited to start off the year with this setup so that I can bring a ton of good content to you all. We have lots of big plans on this channel as well as a couple other channel ideas for you all coming up, so be sure to subscribe if you're new, like this video for more. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this setup, if there's anything you loved, anything you hated, any ideas for the setup to make it better, and I appreciate you all so very much for watching. You should watch this video next. I think you're gonna love it. Happy 2025, and I'll see you all in the next one.